Okay, everybody, all elected members here, the meeting will call. We'll go, school committee first and then city council. For a roll call?
Yeah.
All right, for a roll call, we'll do city council first and then school committee. Mr. Clerk?
Counselor Elliott.
Here.
Mayor Leahy.
Here.
Counselor Mercia.
Here.
Counselor Newman.
Here.
Counselor Rourke.
Here.
Counselor Samaras.
Here.
Counselor Chow.
Here.
Counselor Conway.
Here.
Counselor Drinkwater.
Here.
Miss Martin. Miss Clark.
Here.
Mr. Dakota.
Here.
Mr. Dillon.
Here.
Miss Doherty.
Here.
So communication, remote Zoom participation. Pursuant to the Governor Baker emergency order modifying state's open meeting law issued March 12, 2020, meetings will be held using remote participation. Need a motion to accept that and place on file by Councilor Rourke, seconded by Councilor Chow. 2.3. We're here to discuss the motion seeking the passage of a joint resolution condemning the comments of school committee member Robert Hoey and reaffirming the city council and school committee's commitment to equity, equality, and inclusion. We do have 4 registered speakers tonight. We'll let the registered speakers go first for the 5-minute time limit. Then we will go on to, I thought we'd go to the school committee first. We'll go to the school department, and we'll go to the council. We want to make sure that we stay on point with the issue at hand, not make it a personal attack against anybody, but speak to the comments that were made and stick to the purpose of why we're here tonight. So we'll call the clerk to go to the speakers. You have 5 minutes. You state your name and address.
I gotta let him in first. I'm gonna let them all in now, John, and then we can call them. Make a note, Mr. Mayor, too, that item 2.1 was removed from the agenda.
Make a note that 2.2 was removed from the agenda, considering that the resignation was already tendered and accepted.
I don't know who these.
So, Mr. Clark?
All right, we have Curtis Chattenbaum.
Good evening, councilors. So as we all know, why we're here tonight, because of a slur that Mr. Hoey sadly used. I know Mr. Hoey very personally. He's a great guy, but sometimes actions have most times actions have consequences. He's always voiced his support for the school system. No, he doesn't have many past incidents that are publicly made aware of. But this time was an extremely bad choice. Having a public official using a racial/anti-Semitic slur nonchalantly is not good, and which is a great reason why we need anti-racism training in the city. Sadly, Mr. Hoey is one of the people who voted against anti-racism training, and this just pushes the show that we really need it. And as someone who represents and makes the decisions for such a diverse city, I do support the mayor's decision for calling for committee member Mr. Robert Hoey Jr.'s resignation. And we did see that Facebook Live post where he did call for his own resignation. Can I get a clarification? Does that immediately take effect?
His resignation was accepted, yes.
Was accepted? Okay,
Yeah.
and so we do have this motion currently still up because we need to know why we're here and why we're discussing this tonight. And I am here to speak for 2.3, so I will speak on that as well later. Thank you guys for your time.
Speak on you're supposed to be speaking on 2.3, Curtis, so just.
This is 2.3?
Yeah, you have 2 minutes here left, so keep going.
And another thing for the anti-racism training, this is a quote that Mr. Hoey did actually say. He said, so I do say some crazy stuff. I love when they say Black Lives Matter. I like to say, how about Puerto Ricans? How about white guys? Do we matter? And that came directly from Mr. Hoey during that interview. It's a lesson to be careful with what you say, especially while you're on live television. And this is why this anti-racism training needs to go into effect as soon as possible. And if we can get that as a motion as soon as possible. And with that, I yield my time.
Thank you, Charles. Mr. Clerk?
Stacy Thompson?
Hi, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, just don't forget to state your name and address for the record, please.
Absolutely. Stacy Thompson, Ursula Street, Lowell, Mass. Really excited to be here today. I'm honored. So good evening. I'm not sure if the manager's here, but Mayor Leahy, the City Council, school committee members, as well as the invested citizens and the viewers today. So I'm actually honored to be here as a citizen of Lowell, but also as a representative of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Consortium of Lowell. And while we have prepared something that's a little bit longer, I'm going to give you a very succinct kind of a rundown of where we are, what we think, and what we are really asking for from all of you appointed and elected officials of the city of Lowell. And it reads, Dear City Manager Donahue, Mayor Leahy, City Councilors, and school committee members, in the past week across the city of Lowell, elected and appointed officials, organizations, and individual community members rallied to condemn the actions of elected school committee member Robert Hoey, who used anti-Semitic slur on city life. This, unfortunately, is not an isolated incident, and such behavior has been enabled by many for far too long. There is a documented history of Mr. Hoey peddling white flight and model minority myths, as well as using racist, bigoted, degrading, and divisive language targeting communities of color and student-elected cabinet at Lowell High School. The Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion DEI Consortium of Lowell applauds the swift actions that have been taken to immediately denounce his actions and continue our work towards a more welcoming and inclusive city. We are hopeful for continued accountability and learning from this Hoey moment in our community. We urge the city of Lowell to recommit to immediate institutional changes and dismantling all forms of racism and discrimination. Some of these changes and proposals were highlighted in our June 2020 Declare Racism a Public Health Crisis call to action letter. These include, but are not limited to, 1, creating a budgeted Department of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the city of Lowell, led by a full-time, experienced executive with sufficient support and resources to ensure success. 2, create a DEI commission with independent authority to make recommendations directly to the city council. 3, establish a racism and bias reporting protocol within the city of Lowell, similar to Lowell Public Schools. 4, mandate meaningful, measurable anti-racism and anti-bias training for all members of City Council on a consistent basis and align such training to evaluation and promotion for city employees. 5, additional community listening sessions. The DEI Consortium Lowell would be willing to co-host a listening session to hear from community members in the wake of recent events. And in closing, the DEI Consortium seeks to continue collaborating with the city in fostering a more welcome, just, and inclusive Lowell. This moment calls for clear and bold leadership, not only from city officials, but more importantly, from the people. Systemic racism is a deeply entrenched product of centuries of white supremacy. Understanding and dismantling inequitable policies and systems will take sustained commitment and effort. We are ready to go the distance. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Stacy. Mr. Clark?
Touchman? Touchman?
Collaborating with the city
Can
and
you hear me,
fostering
sir?
a more welcome, just, and inclusive
Shut your TV off.
clear and bold leadership, not only from city officials.
Shut your TV off. Yep, there you go.
I'm here to speak on 2.3 motion.
Yep, you have 5 minutes and just state your name and your address for the record. Thank you.
Huge van immigrant from Cambodia moved to Lowell in 1996. I own a home in Lowell in Sao Lo for 12 years. I'm running for city council from Sao Lo because I love and care for Lo dearly and deeply. Lo is rich in culture, rich in history. Over the past few years, Lo National Historical Park has been reviving its immigrant exhibit. I've been proudly served on the multi-ethnic panels. Community members provide inputs. This is a rich, diverse history. It makes us great. This is my vision for love. I want to make it clear. I condemn not only Mr. Hoy using racial slurs, but also he used my name in his hateful comments against Puerto Ricans. I'm not dividing it. I'm about unified law. I'm outraged by Mr. Hoy's comments. I also strongly recommend that city councilor, school committee reaffirm their commitment to equity, inclusion, and equality. And I also concurred with the D&I proposal. I thank you sincerely, Stewart Van.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk?
Monica Lundberg.
Hello. My name is Monica Lundberg. I am a homeowner at 12 Alyssa Drive in Lowell and a parent of a second grader. We chose Lowell Public Schools for our daughter because we wanted her to live and learn in more racially integrated communities than we ourselves grew up in. It was one of the biggest factors in our decision on where to raise our child. I have learned over the past 3 years that my daughter has been in the Lowell schools that there is a difference between a diverse community and an integrated one. Lowell is a very diverse community. On paper, we even look relatively well integrated compared to many other parts of the country. But as we have seen yet again, we still have a very, very long way to go before we are socially integrated, before we are in right relationship with each other. I want to believe that surely the resignation of Mr. Hoey will finally be the turning point for Lowell, that surely no one here can still cling to the belief that Lowell doesn't have a race problem. Surely this will be the point at which the white people in leadership in our community will get serious about learning to be anti-racist. I want to believe that. But all the evidence I've seen tells me that I would be foolish to. Mr. Hoey's own resignation video spent more time centering his own feelings than those who were hurt by his slur. I am calling here tonight to ask you, especially the white members of these two committees, not to repeat that mistake. There are those of you in the room who swiftly condemned Mr. Hoey's remarks and called immediately for his resignation, and to you, I applaud you.
Yeah, Monica, I just want to ask you, I'm sorry, I was on mute. I just want to make sure that you keep your comments not personal to the elected body, please. Just stay on point. Thank you.
I am on point. And now I've lost my place in my statement. Where was I? Anyone who believes it is acceptable to repeat a racial slur has no business having input on our children's educations. I would further encourage all of you to hold each other accountable. For those of you who've chosen to remain silent, I say silence is complicity. Especially for those of us who are white, it is our responsibility to stand up and say, no more. We will not continue repeating these mistakes. We will not continue hurting people. I hope you'll consider this resolution tonight as a first step in that process. I hope that it will pass unanimously, but I also challenge you to go further. I completely support all of the points that Ms. Thompson made, and I urge you to implement all of the proposals from DEI and to create a transparent timeline to the community for when you will do that. It is long past time. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. That's it for the registered speakers, Mr. Clerk?
That is,
Okay. So at this point, I'd like to start with the school committee. We'll go alphabetically, and then we'll move on to, and we'll do a vote. I did have one announcement that Miss Martin has a personal, she's unable to attend tonight. She wanted to be here, but she has to attend her personal issue. So I'd start with the school committee, alphabetically, Mr. Clerk. Oh, well, Ms. Clark, you would be first. We'll write down more.
Thank you. I support the swift course of action taken by Mayor Leahy, condemning Bob Hoey for the words he used and demanding his immediate resignation. Words are important, and we all must take responsibility for our actions and behaviors. This is a time for all of us to reflect on our own personal beliefs and work to better understand how our thoughts, words, and actions not only define who we are, but also impact others. On July 15th of 2020, the school committee passed my motion requiring members to participate in anti-racism, unconscious attitudes, and implicit bias training. Bob Hoey supported this motion. In my opinion, training like this should be embraced by all governing bodies and officials throughout the city of Lowell. We must prioritize diversity, equity, and inclusion work in all parts of city government. This work is never done and must be kept front and center in our decision-making. Thank you.
Thank you. You want me to call the name? Mr. Dillon?
Thank you. I thought Andy was next, but right. It's all right.
No, you're right, I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter.
So go to Mr. Dakota and then back to Mr. Dillon. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In the last 5 days, our city and school district have suffered a huge black eye. It has negated a lot of hard work by this community and school district to promote equity in our city and its schools. Having been in many closed-door executive sessions, though the conversations that could sometimes get heated, never, ever was a racial slur or otherwise despicable statement ever spoken, ever. I want to make that clear. First, I would like to reach out to our Jewish population and specifically Mr. Frisch to say we are sorry that this insensitive and derogatory comment was made by one of our elected officials. There never has been and never will be an acceptance of this kind of bigotry. Secondly, I want to say to all the other ethnicities from this multicultural city that were somehow thrown under the bus, so to speak, that we do not condone the demeaning and the suggestion of negativity concerning our community's inclusion in any way. Going forward, it is my sincerest hope that we can mend some of these broken bridges and ensure our fellow citizens that they will always be welcome and supported. We cannot and will not allow this to happen again, period. I wholeheartedly support this motion put forth by the mayor, and I cannot wait to put my name on it. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, is it?
Sorry, we were
Oh.
on.
I didn't know if you were waiting for me or not. What?
No, We
Oh,
start
all right, great. Thank you very much. Yes, so I support the resolution, certainly. The, like my colleagues have started saying that the last few days has been just a terrible um, black eye, Mr. Dakota's word on this district. And, what was said is just clearly not language that, I mean, never mind public official, it's language that just shouldn't be around anymore. And so I think this is going to be a very easy consensus tonight to support this resolution. I do want to mention, Curtis, I believe he's a little high student, mentioned that, Bob Hoey's always been good to him. And Bob is a good person. I think he has a kind heart. And he certainly, he certainly has done wrong, and hopefully he can learn from it. And I think we're all learning something from the whole experience. So I support the motion and look forward to hearing what everybody else has to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Doherty? Come on.
And I'm muted. No,
I apologize. It took me a minute to unmute. I just like to start by saying I appreciate that Mr. Hoey has resigned. I think it really is giving us the opportunity to move forward in a way that is going to be healing for the community. I don't think that this is really just about one man making a mistake. I think it's a symptom that we as a city need to come together. And I think we started that process last year when we had the listening session to listen to each other and learn from each other's perspective and do the work necessary, as comfortable as it might be at times, but do the work necessary to become a better city, to truly be an inclusive, welcoming, just community, which I think is what most of us want, really. And, we, as the earlier speaker mentioned, she chose to come here and put her children in the Lowell Public Schools because she recognized that our diversity is a strength and it's something we're quite proud of. And it was the same for me. That's why I moved to Lowell and put my children into the school system. 27 years ago, I've been, that long a member of this community, a city that I love. So I don't want to spend time bashing any one person who made a mistake and he's paying the price for that mistake. But I think we should use this as a teachable moment for our community to examine our own biases, our own beliefs, and to listen to each other. Because when you come from the perspective of a white-skinned person, you don't fully understand what other people have experienced. So I think that we can grow from this as a community and we can do better. And that's why I'm supporting the mayor's resolution. And I'm looking forward to, as Ms. Clark mentioned, the trainings that we're going to have in the school and maybe some trainings at the city, but how we have these conversations going forward so we can really truly be the city that we want to be. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to the city council. Councilor Chow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for calling this meeting. And I want to thank all the members of the school committee for joining us tonight. And we should do a joint meeting more often. We are the two governing bodies for the city, and we need to share the ideas, discuss the challenges we face as members of the elected officials as a whole. I want to thank all the registered speakers who's with heartfelt emotions, with their lived experience, and it's always very, very informative. And I learned a lot from the speakers that is in our community. I pretty much share much of the sentiments of the previous speakers. This kind of hate speech does not belong in our community or in our schools. And it's an irony, and it is really a tragedy. When we we talk about racism or quote unquote the ignorance of prejudice and discrimination and racism, it is because of a lack of education of some kind, whether it's academics or social or experience. And for this to happen, from a school committee member, that's really rocks the foundation of our community, because that is really the educational institution of our community. So it's appalling, but as the prior speakers have mentioned, we with his resignation and his apology, we can move forward. We can start moving forward to build a better community and to build a better city. And with that, I absolutely 100% support this resolution. It's a good call, and I think we're going to get hopefully get a unanimous vote on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Conway?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll be very brief. Former school committee members' anti-Semitic language was disparaging and offensive and does not represent the heart and soul of the city of Lowell and its people. His actions destroyed and betrayed their trust and will not be tolerated. All forms of racism need to be denounced. I applaud the mayor for calling this joint meeting with the city council and the school committee to condemn Mr. Hoey's hurtful words. The city of Lowell has always celebrated the richness of our diversity. We need to continue to work and do better to be inclusive and tolerant for all the people. Mr. Hoey's resignation for the Lowell School Committee was the right action to take. I totally support the mayor's motion. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Drinkwater?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank you for the statement that you made on this issue, and also bringing this meeting together tonight. I agree with what's been said tonight. Mr. Hoey's resignation, I believe, allows us to move forward as a city. But I think moving forward is different than moving on. And what I hope doesn't happen is that we just move on from this incident too quickly. Because again, this is one incident involving one person, but there's a larger conversation that this brings to the surface, and we're having that conversation tonight. And that's about the lingering attitudes of hatred that do exist here within our city, and not just within our city, within our society. But I think if there's any notion out there that we're special or different, or that we don't have just as much work to do as anywhere else, I hope we can put that notion to rest. And whether they're anti-Semitic views, racist views, anti-immigrant views, that the reality is that these views do still exist. And even though they're very rarely made as plainly obvious as they were on TV last week. And as painful as I know last week's incident was, especially for those of Jewish heritage, and it pained me to hear from Jewish members of our community who described the personal hurt that they had from those remarks. I think it's always better to have those sorts of views receive the daylight that they receive from being said in public than just to be uttered behind closed doors and suppressed in public settings where they'll never ever receive public scrutiny. So, and that's especially when those views are held by somebody who's entrusted to make decisions on behalf of our residents and our students. And to be honest, while the severity and the public nature of Mr. Hoey's remarks shocked me, I think it's the many more comments that do happen behind closed doors, said by people who may not hold public office, but who may be making other decisions, hiring decisions. They could be making decisions on rental applications within our community. And it's those individuals and those decisions that stay with me as a lingering concern. And, ironically, I think Mr. Hoey did shed some light on the depth and the hidden nature of this problem in our community in the video that he posted on Friday, when he mentioned hearing hate speech throughout his entire life. And specifically, he referenced hearing the most abhorrent hate speech in the English language upward of 1,000 times. And while I'm not necessarily sure that he was trying to bring light to a big societal problem that we have, what he said, I believe, did have value, and forcing us to confront many of the attitudes that still do exist out there. And I think as we move forward, not move on, but move forward, in pushing for a more just and equitable city and society, I hope we do so with a clear understanding of exactly the barriers that hatred and bigotry, and discrimination and racism, both explicit racism and systemic racism, put up in front of us as we take this on. So I think once we understand that and we can grapple with it, then I really think we can move forward into taking on those real solutions. And I look forward to taking on that work with all of you, my colleagues. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. That brings us to Councilor Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This was a hard incident that took place recently in the city against our Jewish brothers and sisters. And we as leaders will not be deterred from continuing to embrace each and every nationality in our city as we have. We're a better city than that. The pride of Lowell is based on the very people who come here from all parts of the world to call Lowell home. I reaffirm my commitment to continue to work to address equity issues and reassure every resident in this city that we're an inclusive and welcoming community. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Councilor Mercier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for the school committee coming together and join with us this evening. I'm very sad to think that we have to call a meeting for this particular reason. I know that I didn't vote to say that this city was in racism was a crisis. I don't want to label our city that. I firmly believe that there's good people here. People sometimes make mistakes. Bob Hoey made a mistake, and he's paying dearly for it, to the point where he, in his wisdom, resigned. I don't think he wanted to resign. I think he loves this city. He made a mistake. I don't know anybody amongst us that hasn't made a mistake, but to this caliber, it's not tolerated. This is a city that there's no place for hate, no place for racism, no place for this behavior like this. From what I understand, we know it's a city of immigrants that come from all kingdoms. My father came here from Poland as an immigrant. I have an affinity, a love for people because I've seen it firsthand with my father. Anti-racism. Training. I certainly believe we should do that, and I would be willing and honored to take personally. And I've heard about it, but not to the degree of a crisis. Who knows? Maybe there is a crisis. I don't know that, but I think that this is a good start. I commend Bob Hoey for resigning. He did the right thing. But I feel that what's next? What is next with this? We as a council must set policy and amend the charter. And I don't want to step on Councilor Elliott's toes because I think he has a motion that is quite warranted. I tried to do the same thing some years ago with another mayor whom I thought did something egregious, but nothing happened about it. And I'm not going to get into names, but I'm understanding that in the city of Lowell, in the school system, I'm hearing that we had 62 nationalities altogether. I think that is amazing. We like to keep it unified. We like to keep everyone included and not excluded. So this is a start. I hope this is the stepping stone that we can go further and train people, go into the school system and teach our children not to grow up with racism. And I think it's a good start, and that's what I want to see. So thank you for letting this meeting go on, Mr. Mayor, and continue. This should not be the end of it. We should look upon the charter and try to amend it so that we can nip things like this in the bud. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor Mercia. Councilor Rourke? Oh, Councilor Noon? Yeah. Councilor Noon, thank you.
Yeah, I'm here. I have some video technical problem here, but Mr. Mayor, first, let me apologize to our Jewish community. I also want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the swift response. And I want to thank all my colleagues, both on the school committee and city council. Like most of you, I'm appalled by the anti-Semitic and racist comment made by our former school committee member. You, City Manager Donahue, and people from the LTC, the management from there, we have called out this unacceptable behavior. I do not believe that this view are broadly held in law, but to be held by and broadcast by former elected official is 100% unacceptable. I also would like to join all of you to reaffirm our commitment to the principle of equity, diversity, and inclusion. I know that this process can be slow, difficult, and uncomfortable, but it is worth doing because at the end, it will make us stronger and healthier as a city. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Noon. Councilor Rourke?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Number one, for your leadership in this issue. Thank you to the administration of both the city and the school committee for taking a quick stance in denouncing what was said, the incident that happened. And also to my fellow elected officials for taking the same tact for what happened last week. Personally for me, it has always and will always stun me that people have preconceived notions about someone just based on a look or a nationality or where they came from. But unfortunately, incidents that happened last week, take that idea and throw it in trash. And it's beyond unfortunate. It's egregious, and the word that was used is one used by white supremacists and Nazis, and nothing but negativity towards a nationality, a race, or religion. It's beyond incomprehensible to me. And going forward, I agree with some of my colleagues that have spoken earlier. You can't move past it. You have to move forward. And continue the conversations, continue to speak to people who are different than you in any regard, to see where people come from, and to get to know your fellow neighbor or citizen, Llewellyn, for who they are and not what they are. I think as soon as we can do that as a community, the better off we'll be. So once again, I look forward to supporting the resolution, and also thank you to my fellow colleagues in government for their swift and correct action. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Samaras?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for calling this meeting. And thank you for the quick action that you took regarding this matter. You know, for me, Lowell is a gateway city and has been a welcoming city to the people since its inception. Are we perfect? No. But as a former headmaster, I can say when I asked this community for help for my students, I received it, creating a multi-million-dollar scholarship fund, distinguished alumni, and more. That is the Lowell I know. However, this egregious and abhorrent act gave this city a black eye. Therefore, this resolution and the condemnation for this act that was stated by other members of this council, I hope it leaves no ambiguity as to our position, that as an elected body representing the people of Lowell, that we have no tolerance for this kind of behavior. There was no excuse for this behavior. There's no defense for this behavior, and it has no place in the community. And any attempt to rationalize this behavior must be deemed unacceptable. Therefore, I hope we have made it clear to our constituents that this was unacceptable, and we will review what has happened and show, and must show, through actions and deeds, that there is no place in Lowell for this kind of behavior. Hate and prejudice will be dealt with. This resolution is a good beginning. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Before I read the resolution, I just had a couple of comments myself. We're here tonight to pass the joint resolution condemning the comments of former school committee member Robert Hoey and to reaffirm the school committee and city council's commitment to equity, equality, and inclusion. The anti-Semitic language used by former school committee member Robert Hoey is reprehensible, offensive, and was deeply disturbing to many members of our community, as ourselves. In these days since the incident, I have heard from countless residents, community leaders, Lowell High students, and their senior class officers. I have been encouraged by their willingness to speak out and want to thank them for taking the time to come and down to my office, to call, to write letters, and for speaking out firmly to reject the comments and the hateful sentiment that we reflect on today. The eloquent statements that you have heard from my colleagues this evening demonstrate that Mr. Hoey's remarks last week do not reflect the community as we are. We are a better community than that. We want to be a better community. We're more compassionate, we're more accepting, and we're more welcome. This incident has undoubtedly marked a dark moment in our city, but it is my hope that we can be defined by how we move past this, how we move on, and how our community can do better, and by our ability to recommit ourselves to the ideas we have spoken on this evening. And I like to thank all the members for being here, and I thank you. The resolution that we'll vote on, I'll read it. Resolution, be it hereby resolved that the city of Lowell, by and through its city council and school committee, hereby condemn the recent anti-Semitic comments by former school committee member Robert Hoey, as well as all forms of racism and hate speech. Whereas, while a member of the Lowell School Committee, Mr. Hoey used an off-air offensive and repulsive anti-Semitic slur, and whereas a special meeting of the Lowell School Committee and City Council was immediately called by the mayor in response to such comments, and whereas in response to this incident, the City Council and School Committee jointly wish to condemn the comments of Mr. Hoey, as well as all forms of racism and hate speech, and whereas both bodies wish to reaffirm their steadfast commitment to the principles of equity, diversity, and equality. Therefore, be it resolved by this City Council and School Committee of the City of Lowell that we jointly be recorded in condemning the recent anti-Semitic comments of Mr. Hoey, as well as all forms of racism, hate speech, and further resolved to join our commitment to the principles of equality, equity, diversity. This resolution adopted by a vote of the City Council and School Committee of Lowell on this day, March 1st, 2021. Take a roll call.
Need a motion to adopt.
Need a motion to adopt by Councilor Mercia, second Conway. Roll call.
Counselor Elliott,
Yes.
Mayor Leahy,
Yes.
Council Mercy,
Yes,
Council Noon,
Yes.
Council Rourke,
Yes.
Council Samaras,
Yes.
Council Chow,
Yes.
Council Conway,
Yes.
Council Drinkwater,
Yes.
Ms. Martin, Ms. Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Dakota,
Yes.
Mr. Dillon,
Yes.
Ms. Doherty.
Yes.
All right, I want to thank everybody for attending tonight. Very important issue for our city, and thank you for all your comments. Need a motion to adjourn if there's not any other questions, comments?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Sure. I can't really see on the screen who's,
Second.
Note, Mr. Mayor.
Move to adjourn.
okay. Move to adjourn by Councilor Noon, second by Councilor Mercer. Thank you.